Good morning, everyone. Well,
I'm back. I feel real good about myself, you know what I mean? So,
and you know, I've got stories and whatnot to talk about on our trip. So we went on a trip. I was gone for a couple of weeks. I apologize for not posting anything. I thought I could do some stuff while we were down there, but the setup was not ideal for anything. I just decided, you know what, if it's going to be this difficult, I'm just not going to bother for the trip and try to enjoy my time. And we did, and it was great. There were some very interesting parts, some very harrowing parts. Getting down there was fascinating. It was 3 plane trips down, 3 plane trips back. And we stayed one day in Puerto Rico in San Juan, and then we took a 4-passenger plane from San Juan to Vieques, and then we were down in Vieques for like 6 days. So yeah, so there's all of that to come. We can talk about that. We'll talk about that all week long. But before then, we're going to do Indiana Jones again because I had this the first time and I've missed it ever since. And we're going to do it in our French strainer. So what do? We're going to do about 40 grams. Insanity, I know, but 40 grams because the flavor of this is so nice. And I want every bit of it. And it's just, oh, wow. Just coming back to it. Oh my gosh, what a smell. The coffee down there was fun. I guess while we're doing coffee, I can talk about coffee. There were a lot of roasters down there. It was really hard. I didn't know what I could and couldn't bring back. And then I realized that anything I purchased after the checkpoint in San Juan airport to bring back, I would have been able to just bring back. It's not like they're going to double check the bag. But, you know, in my head, I was still in vacation mode and I was still very cautious about everything. So, but you know, when you're in the moment, you don't, sometimes you just forget. Sometimes you just don't realize when you're in the moment. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You wish you remember looking back, but sometimes you just don't. So, hey, let's get this started right now. And we'll talk a little bit on the other side. It's funny, one actually kind of hanging on down there. Let me see if I can. Nope, doesn't want to move. All right, we'll have to deal with that one later. Okay. Like I said, the smell of this is just so great. It's like your favorite, almost like your favorite, look at that, no chaff, no static, all wonderful. It's like your favorite hot chocolate almost, you know, and it's going to be in a coffee, and it just sounds amazing. All right, so we've got 41.5 grams. That's pretty good. And then we're going to do, I'm going to do about 500 grams of water, depending on if I put that much in Mr. Kettle back there. So anyway, so let's start with the flight down. The flight to Orlando and then the flight to San Juan, normal stuff. Pretty packed. Both flights were pretty packed. Not as packed as the flight back from San Juan Airport. When you're leaving from Puerto Rico, from San Juan, is an experience that we'll have to talk about. But we'll save that. God, I thought Orlando was bad, to be honest, and was very glad that we only had to change planes in Orlando rather than redo everything in Orlando. But anyway, so we flew into San Juan, and it's an amazing place, even just from the airport, because you leave the airport and it's nothing but like containers. Like the big containers you see on the back of trucks hauling around, just huge stacks of containers and trucks just continuously leaving the area, just a stream of trucks just continuously moving, just leaving. It was absolutely fascinating to watch in that short amount of time. Our driver was incredibly kind, incredibly knowledgeable and talkative, and told us all about San Juan, and was a crazy driver. I mean, the Uber guy, it just, holy cow, it was scary. When you are in the back seat of an Uber, it's always, what are you going to get? And this guy, Bob weaved, ducked, dodged. I mean, in a van. I believe it was a van. I think, if I remember correctly, I think it was a van. I don't know. No, wait, was it a van? It doesn't matter. It was a decent-sized vehicle, and he was moving like a bat out of hell, and to get us from the airport to our hotel area on Old San Juan. And when we got to Old San Juan, there were cruise ships, 3 of them, that had docked and were letting people out. And cruise ships are just big, ugly things, and they're weird. They're weird little microbiospheres, you know. And we had to go get bug spray because we had forgotten to bring bug spray. So the only Walgreens in San Juan was down by where everybody got let out because everybody's got to get their itch ointment from the cruise. So and their condoms. So the line in that Walgreens stretched all the way around the outside of the store. Everybody grabbed their item and then they stood in line. Kudos to the people who were checking people out because they were just like on. And the lady was like, muy rápido, move it, muy rápido, next in line, muy rápido. And it was just, it was like, she was great, and they were all great, and they all did a wonderful job. So those people are not being paid enough, I'm sure. Okay, so 500 grams of water. Let's see if I got it in it here. 500 grams of water. And then we're gonna let it go. We're gonna let it steep. We're gonna let it run, and we're gonna let it percolate for about 4 minutes. We're gonna give it a stir. I'm gonna get off some of that crust. Oh yeah, yeah. A little more than I wanted. It's fine. I'm gonna stir off some of that crust. I'm gonna put it down the drain, and then we're gonna let it sit for another 9 minutes. And then, boy howdy, are we gonna have a cup of coffee. Or 2. It's probably about a 2. Do they make a marshmallow creamer? Because I think this would taste amazing with like a marshmallow flavored creamer. I'll have to look for that. I will have to look for that. A marshmallow creamer with this. Because it smells like a wonderful hot chocolate. It just does. It's just a fantastic. This is great. While they're still running this, you should go pick this up. You should go to their website. You should go to Bones Coffee and you should pick this up because it is probably, I think I said this before, my top 3, which is a straight line. It's not like staggered, like 1, 2, or 3, 2, 1. It's like top 3 right here. You know, so it's like the mustachio and the this, and then I think it was the Franken Bones was really good. Anyhow, so the trip through Old San Juan to get to our hotel was harrowing, and the streets, holy crap. Old world streets. If you've ever watched, anything shot in like Italy or Spain, the streets are a car and a half wide, and people park on the streets. It is absolutely, I didn't start a timer. Okay, so we'll go for 3 minutes. It's absolutely insane to watch all of this happen. I'm so glad that we did not have a car in Old San Juan to drive. I'm glad we used Ubers. I'm glad everything was around our hotel where we wanted to be. So that was great. But the streets and the curbs. The curbs were about 4 to 5 inches off from the street. So I mean, there was about this much curb between the street and the sidewalk. It was crazy. I assume it's for rains and for flooding, and that way, the water has a place to go. The hills were absolutely insane. We went to one old fort that had an old cemetery next to it, and that was pretty cool. It was beautiful sights and stuff. Saw my first iguana there. That was pretty cool. And then we went, we ate at a couple different places, and the hotel we stayed at, old a beautiful old hotel, had a wonderful key. The big, heavy wooden doors for your hotel room were exposed to that hot 100% humidity, and therefore needed your entire weight on your shoulder to open, and then your entire yanking arm to do anything with, to close, to open, everything. It was just the big, heavy wooden doors that were just saturated, and it was amazing. I mean, they sealed pretty good. The rooms were cold, and then you open the door, and then you're outside in the heat, and it wasn't as bad. You got used to it, but of course, I sweat like. I mean, it's just constant water flow. When I stop sweating, you know, it's worrisome, and I don't think I've ever stopped sweating. So I've been okay. It was fine, but the heat was amazing. I mean, I think it got up to 90. I think it stayed a nice steady 80, between 85 and 88. Sometimes it got up to 90. But the humidity, we were walking around Old San Juan, and he looked at me and he said, "You have bugs all over your forehead," because I was sweating so hard, and we ran through these gnats, and the bugs just drowned on my forehead, which was pretty funny. But we walked a lot. He lost 5 pounds while we were on vacation because we walked and went around so much. I feel sorry for him because, you know, he likes to relax and have, you know, quiet time on vacations, and we were nonstop. I think all of my vacations I've had are nonstop, so I feel kind of bad about that. But anyway, so Old San Juan. Here we go. All right, let's do a little crust break. Bring the crust at the top. Give it another couple minutes here. Let the stuff float to the bottom. God, it smells so good. And then we'll continue on. But yeah, it was just, God, it was just so. And the colors are so vibrant on the buildings. And just the architecture is gorgeous. It's just an amazing place. I mean, you don't have to go. You don't need a passport to go there. I would suggest you work on some very rudimentary Spanish, at least out of kindness. Everybody there was able to speak English on mainland Puerto Rico. But, you know, just out of kindness, you know, a gracias or a buenos dias or buenas noches or buenas tardes, you know, just to be kind, you know, that's the best thing to do is, you know, just to acknowledge, you know, you are Puerto Rico and, you know, we're visiting you. So we should know a little bit about your culture and a little bit about your language that you are comfortable with. I brought back a cold. I brought back some kind of upper respiratory thing. I'm so happy about from the trip back because the plane was the plane was full. It wasn't so full. It was just full. There were no seats left. We were asshole to elbow. It was a very tight plane ride for those almost 4 hours. I say 8 hours. It felt like 8 hours. Boy, it was a long plane flight. A long, annoying plane flight. It wasn't that bad. It was just, you know, we were just stuck in these close quarters for like that long of a time, and it was just, anyway, that's a later story for a later time. So we ate at 2 nice places. We basically broke it up. We either had breakfast and dinner one day, and then the next day we had just a large lunch. And then we were doing so much, and maybe we had a snack. I don't even remember the snacks. We might have had a snack, but, you know, it was basically we either had breakfast and dinner, and then the next day we had lunch, and then, you know, it was just kind of back and forth like that. We'll let this go. Yeah, we'll let this go another 2.5 minutes, and then we'll do a strain. Okay, so... yeah, San Juan was Old San Juan was amazing. I mean, it's just a whole nother world. I mean, you think going to Florida is a whole nother world. Maybe going to Key West is even deeper into that whole other world. San Juan and Puerto Rico are it's just fantastic. It's so much another country, apparently, that a YouTube TV said, hey, you're in another country, you can't use me. So, so that's how that worked. It was so much fun. In Old San Juan, we just did a bunch of walking. We walked everywhere. It's the first time I had a whole fish. It was like the entire fish, just wood-fired. I'm glad for the experience, and it tasted fine, but I probably won't do it again. It's kind of like eating crab. Crab's pretty good, but there's a lot of work. And you don't get a lot of meat out of all that work. No matter how good it tastes, you're still like, I had a crab dinner and now I want mac and cheese and a bunch of other stuff. I want a hamburger, please. So it's just that thing. And that was neat. And then just the 3 cruise ships. It was absolutely amazing and crazy, and all of these people. And then we were sitting at a restaurant, and the horn sounded for one of the cruises, and you just saw this wave of people coming down the street towards the harbor, towards the docks. And it was just a trickle, and it was a steady trickle. And then when they signaled the all aboard for the 3rd time, which I think was 3 toots, I think I saw 2 or 3 different groups of people racing. There's always those people. Racing to get to the docks, because where we were eating wasn't very far, but it was far enough to be where butt clench time getting there. Yeah, I know we had a wonderful time. I didn't drink very much, which is great. I generally you like to sample things, and sometimes you get a little carried away. I know I got a little carried away when we went to New Smyrna. But this time I did not. So we sampled some drinks, had the best sangria I have ever tasted at this wonderful restaurant in Old San Juan. And then there's this it's got cinnamon and it's got cinnamon and cream and a bunch of other liqueurs in it. And they say it's a Christmas drink there. And it's just the tastiest thing. I want it often because it just tastes so good. All right, so let's press this down to just over top of the coffee. Beautiful. And then let's see what we get here after about 10 minutes of steeping. I'm sure it's gonna be fantastic. So that's basically San Juan. Old San Juan. It was just a bunch. We just ran around everywhere, and I'll as we're talking, I'll put up pictures and show some video. And we'll talk about getting to Vieques in the first couple days of Vieques tomorrow. But for right now, we're going to talk about coffee, and you watch the process. Boy. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I want to get some marshmallow, and I guess it sounds weird. I don't know, and I really don't care. I want to get some marshmallow. I'm sure they must have it. They must have some kind of marshmallow creamer, and it would just go wonderfully with this. It would just make it, well, it'd make it sweeter, number one, and number two, it would make it taste a lot like a coffee s'more, almost. I mean, I know that this is butterscotch, but there's just, the flavor profile is just so complex. It's just so much more than butterscotch. It's a lot of chocolate and butterscotch. It's just so nice. It's just so good. It just plays so well. I haven't had a nice coffee in a while. The coffees down there, like I said, were really good. But I tried to figure out a way to grind it at the places we were staying, and it just wasn't feasible. It was easier just to go out and buy coffee and have coffee at the little cafes and restaurants that we went to. Anywho, yeah, back again. Excited to be back. Glad to be back. Vacation's great, but whew, 6-7 days away. And the kitties did very well. The person that comes in to help, they do a wonderful job, and they take care of the kitties, and you know, we don't have to worry about it at all. So I appreciate them so much for their help. And we're gonna take them out to dinner here pretty soon, hopefully. We just have to get there. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. We are going to come back tomorrow. I'm going to tell you some more stuff about our trip to Vieques, to show some pictures of the first couple days, and then we'll talk about the most harrowing experience I've had in a very long time. And that's just a taste, a little amuse-bouche, I guess, of what's coming probably on Thursday. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.